Sunday, and time for another episode of Record Collecting with a Quill. For this week, we have a couple of holy grails I've been able to get a hold of. So we're only going to discuss two albums, but they're both triple albums, so I think we will fill in full episode anyway. But before we start, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and that little notice bell as well, so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Well, as most of you know, I'm a huge Kiss collector. I collect Kiss vinyl bootlegs, I collect singles, some CDs as well, but no toys. I leave that for others. But as a Kiss collector, there's a few periods that are holier than others, and one of those periods are the Japanese period from the 70s. There's so much cool stuff to collect, both vinyl wise, but also like merch and stuff, and a lot of cool special magazines from Japan. And there's a couple of releases that are have almost like a mythical status. I'm talking about these two. This one, the first originals released in Japan in '77, and also this one, originals 2. These two albums are albums when, as a kid, they were almost like someone heard a guy or knew a guy who once saw the originals 2 in some record store or something. I had a couple of copies of these for years, I think like almost 20 years, but they're not complete in any way. They're missing some parts because there's some cool extra stuff in these. And I almost avoided buying them because as a kid and as a collector, those were the holy albums, the ones you couldn't get. But now with internet and everything, these albums are quite easy to get a hold of. They're nothing. It's not that difficult really. You have to pay a little bit for them, but they haven't really increased in value that much either, because as I said, with internet and everything, it's a lot easier to track them down. So they more or less have been priced the same way for quite a long while now. But I decided now, with this whole COVID thing and you're sitting around doing nothing and there's no vacations or anything, I decided that, well, now it's the time to get a hold of complete copies. And I was able to track down both the first one and the second one in really nice conditions with all the extras that's supposed to be there. So I thought we'd take a little look inside what's inside of them, starting out with this one. The first one, originals, it was released in '76 in the US and Canada, I believe, and a little bit later in Japan to coincide with the Japanese tour in March of 1977. So there's a couple of different versions of this one, and this one stays quite true to the US version when it comes to extras. What's a little bit special about this one? Well, first you have this horizontal obi. That's unique for it's the only Kiss release with a horizontal obi. It's quite common with other labels in Japan, but for Kiss, for some reason, they decided this was the only release to have that sort of obi. But it's still cool, and that one it's the most tricky one to get a hold of if you want to have a complete. There's a lot of copies out there with quite a lot of the extras, but usually the obi is missing. But this one's really nice, and if you open it, I thought we would take a little look at all the extras inside, trying to be gentle with it. You have all the albums come with the original covers with really nice the inner sleeves, looking like this. And you also have, gotta be gentle here, you have the sticker. This one was really nice, in really great shape. You have the card sheet, really nice as well. This one is usually also missing sticker as well. You have the booklet was this booklet is the same as on the US version, but you also have a Japanese booklet with the lyrics and stuff as well. These are quite funny to read sometimes, actually, because the lyrics are far from correct, sort of their take on whatever. And you have, there you have, without the OB, you have the fold out with everything, and you also have the back side. This one contains the first 3 album, Kiss, Hotter Than Hell, and Dress to Kill. And as I said, this one was available in a few different markets. You have 2 different US pressings, apart from the promo as well. You have the first pressing and you have the second printing. It says second printing, and you also have a Canadian version out there. It's a little bit different, different gatefold and different labels on the albums as well. And you actually have 2 Japanese versions. You have the regular one, and you also have a promo version that's really difficult to hunt down. So that's the next one on the list, I guess. I think that was all. Felt like there was something more here. No, wasn't. And now for this one. This was the true mythical album as a kid. I remember here in Sweden we had a magazine called OK. It was really popular in the mid-80s when I grew up, and they had a series like the history of Kiss, and in one of the episodes there was a discography, and there was this album. I heard, and most of us have heard of the originals, but all of a sudden there was a mention of originals 2. And like, what's that? I never heard of that, and I remember discussing with my friends, and no, that's not correct. That's just something they came up with. But then I remember in the late 80s there was a quite famous record store in Malmö, down in the south of Sweden, called Record Heaven. They used to import a lot of records from Japan, and they actually had copies, had a copy of this one. It's like, oh my God, it's real, it actually exists. So as I remember, it was the first time I actually saw copies for sale that you can actually buy, but they costed a fortune, and I guess they costed more then than they do now. The word is, with this one, there's a promo poster from around the time it was released, and the promo poster says it's limited to 50,000 copies, but the word is that it was far less made than 50,000. But as I said, it's more common. You can easily find it on eBay now, but you have to pay a little bit for it. But this is a really cool release, and I'm really happy to have a complete copy. As I said, continues with the next 3 studio albums by Kiss: Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, and Love Gun. And it's more or less, it's the same, in the same style as the first one. This one, they've been really vinyl there. And you have the same type of inner sleeves, paper quality, really nice. But you have a couple of different extras for this one. You have a couple of booklets. You have a really nice photo booklet, really unique. It's not that many pages, but still cool. You have a small poster and some cool shots. I really love that shot of Ian Simmons there. You have, as with the first one, Japanese booklet as well, with the lyrics, a little bit of history as well. And as I said, if you do get this copy, read the lyrics. There's usually quite a lot of fun stuff there. And he also had these 4 ugly but still super cool masks. You have Peter, you have Ace, you have Paul, and you have Gene with the spiky tongue. And as I said, also it's the same formula as the first one. It's black fold out and a cool obi as well. This one was only ever released in Japan, and it was never released. This is the only version there is to get. They didn't release any promo versions of it as well. It came out in '78 to cash in, I guess, on the Kiss tour of Japan in 1978. So the first one in '77 when Kiss went there, and the next one the year after. So this is a really cool item, and I'm really happy to have it. As I said, I have a couple of more copies, not complete, but I will hold on to them as well, because, well, you can't sell your Kiss records. You have to. Your collection is something. You have to have the good albums, but you also have to have the albums that's a little bit incomplete, and you love all your kids, don't you? So really happy with this. This one holds a special place, and I'm really glad to finally have it. And I will probably put it in the bank vault or something. Even though I have a bunch of records that are a lot more difficult to get and more rare, this one is a true special one. So, cool. Usually I put tracks from each album on the Spotify playlist. These albums aren't available on Spotify, so you have to listen to the original studio albums. But anyway, thanks for looking. This was a lot of fun, actually. I'm really happy. I also got some other cool Kiss Japanese stuff where I'll probably show you later. I got a bunch of stuff, but I decided to focus on these two holy grails this time. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next Sunday, and we'll see what we will discuss that next week. You never know. There's always something cool around the corner. So thanks for watching, and also be sure to check out our social media. It's the QUILL Sweden. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and we're on Twitter as well. So the QUILL Sweden. See you all next week. Bye for now.